Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Tuesday, the 13th of October, comes to you from London, and we'll give you my 10-minute market wrap for what's been going on in the markets through the charts. This is my weekly, my daily, and my 60-minute chart, my long-term, medium-term, and short-term view of the market with corresponding point and figure targets. And if we start by looking at the dollar index, we saw a little bit of recovery in the dollar this morning. It's gradually climbing on that medium-term chart, and it is looking more and more like a bottom on that weekly chart. But for the moment, we are still in bearish territory on the dollar. On the long-term point and figure chart, though, we've just pulled all the way back to support. We have met that downside target, and we do have some short-term downside targets as well. So a bit of a mixed picture there. Looking at the euro, we're seeing that that's just tailing off with that renewed dollar weak strength in the short term. So euro was in the short-term trend, and the key thing is that we broke that sideways trend and it's back above that sort of support level. So it's looking a little bit better, and we're bullish above the cloud in all three charts, just testing the short term at the moment. Sterling sitting at 130.31, so just holding on against the dollar. Against the euro, sitting at 110.54. So that is also looking a bit better as well. Taking a look at Bitcoin, we are sitting at $11,463, holding on to the gains that we've seen in the last week or so, steadily climbing. So that's looking better. And we saw quite a strong showing, in fact, a very strong showing on the US stock market last night. That weekly candle now back above the close that we saw a few weeks ago. Not on the daily chart, though, because we had that intra-week level, which is those daily candles there. So we've got to get back to new highs, but looking better and better all the time for the recovery, which is quite remarkable. Driven, of course, by the heavy tech stock presence. The Nasdaq was up some 3% overnight. We did see quite a fallback in the last hour, and we'll look at some of the tech stocks for those changes. The Dow was also up just under 1%. The futures this morning are down, no big surprises after such a big move yesterday. Down 0.5% on the S&P and down 1/3% on the E-mini. The VIX volatility is up 3%, sitting at 25. So it is actually still relatively high compared to where we were for all of last year. But whilst we're below that 30 level, that's causing less concerns for the market. The FTSE future is down 2/3% in the UK, and the DAX is down just under 0.5% in Europe, and the CAC 40 down 0.5%. Short-term charts looking good here, but the CAC 40 has really been in a sideways trend for a long time, struggling to get back into bullish territory, remembering that US markets smashed to new highs. Looking at Japan, we're sitting up 1/3%, and China, not much change, so a bit flat there. In India, we were down just slightly. The Aussie market putting in a strong showing, up 1%, so we're seeing an improvement in sentiment there. Gold is sitting at 1918, so holding that $1,900 level, bullish on all three time frames. The long-term trend is still very good for gold. And silver down this morning, but did have a big move over the last few days, so looking okay there as well. US 10-year yields just falling back slightly to 0.75%, just turning bearish there on that short-term chart, so that's worth watching. The tech stocks, we'll have a quick look at. Apple, you see these big moves yesterday. It was up several percent, but ended up 5% up, even with that big move at the close. And we saw that as well at Amazon. So quite a sell-off there just towards the end. Microsoft falling back, and Facebook also. But the bigger movers, Apple and Amazon, really but just massive moves yesterday, but did actually just fall back in the end. Taking a look at the weekly charts, the energy charts, we see Brent crude turned bearish yesterday. We've got downside targets, one to 40.85, another one to 39.55, not yet activated. New lows would activate that today. We're seeing at 40.22 is the target. And of course, we've got this big long-term target of some $30 hanging over us. So for the moment, still a lot of uncertainty. The big picture in oil is that we have rolled over. We failed to make a new high. If we make new lows below 39, that would be very bearish for crude oil. And it's $37 on WTI is the level that we need to watch. That's some way away, but we need to make sure that we don't hit new lows there. We have got downside target there as well. It's on $38. US nat gas it's falling back a little bit, but it's been really strong this last week or so. Had a big move at the end of last week, so we're just settling back. Move above 295 would be bullish, and our call has been if we can hold $3, then we're going much higher. Bob in the US, gasoline falling away, so that's turned bearish. Short-term chart there is bearish. Coal is down 1% this morning at $58. We're starting to see these downside targets being activated. Coal is really breaking the trend there. We see that on this chart. The uptrend really broken, has hit support, resistance, sorry, and now falling away. And we're seeing that playing out on the shorter term chart. Emissions, of course, is the big one to watch at the moment. That fall through 26 that we saw on Friday. Yesterday we were back below there, and now 26 will become some resistance level. 25 is absolutely critical. If we fall through 25 on emissions, that really does break that support level. So we are still in the range on emissions, but that's the key thing. Are we going to see that move above 31? That's a long way away now, and we're coming back and testing this support level. So 25 is the key. UK gas, it was one of our bullish calls for the week. In fact, one of our few bullish calls for the week is looking good. It's continuing to rise there. There is some resistance at 39, but we've got targets to that level and higher. European gas, we look at TTF. We see here we're also rising, but we're down this morning, not as strong as UK gas, and we're just seeing seasonal gas also just down 1%. So just a less strong performance in Europe. Gas pool, we haven't got a price yet, but we're seeing also the trend here is up as well. German power is below the 40 euro mark this morning. We talked about this yesterday on LinkedIn. This is significant. We are just seeing a fall away here on German power, and that is causing some concern that we are just seeing that 39 is now the key support level, so we have to make sure that we hold that. We can see that level there on the chart. Looking at quarterly power, we're also just seeing a fall away there as well, so that's turned bearish. French power has been the underling, and that's really looking very worrying as well, breaking lower. Dutch power holding on to its range, but now just falling out of that range, so that's starting to look bearish as well. We are seeing Nordic power just bucking the trend up 0.6%, and if we look at short term, the quarterly contract, that's looking quite good as well. Czech power, of course, following German power down 3% this morning, breaking out of its range, so that's quite significant. And last of all, look at UK power, we're just falling away there as well. That's it for today. Keep an eye on that oil price. That's going to be the key thing. Can we hold these levels, or are we going to go lower and break new levels? Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.